Welcome back to another episode of Girl Talk. We are here with special guest from TravisMathew, General Manager of Women's Product, Lindsay Browder. Lindsay, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
So we're so excited. So let's jump right in. And how did you get started into the golf industry?
It's kind of an interesting road I had into the golf industry. Didn't particularly grow up with a real passion for golf. It was my dad and my brother's big thing, and I was a volleyball player and I ran track, and I ended up breaking my leg, and my dad begged me to try golf. And I grew up in a ski town in Colorado, so that pretty much meant golfing inside, hitting balls in a maintenance shed for like half of my high school to pick it up. But I immediately fell in love with it and ended up getting a Division I scholarship to play golf in college.
Wow.
And did that, and then kind of continued on the path of turning, after playing in school, turning that into my career by switching over to the side of the business where I was a golf professional, a PGA professional since 2007, and then worked in the buying merchandising side of things before I switched over to actually being with an apparel brand. Back in 2010, I think. I'm date myself.
That's awesome. Do you think that golf was always the path that you wanted to go down? Like when you were in high school, I know you said that's when you picked it up, but was there something else, a different path that you thought initially you were going to go down?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely never saw golf as part of my path at all. I thought it was like a horribly dorky sport that my dad and brother played and was like relegated to do it because I couldn't do anything else because my leg was broken. So I never thought it was the path. Even after I played it when I was in college, still never thought it was the path. And I thought I'd go more the sports marketing route. I worked for Kroenke Sports, which owns like the Denver Nuggets, the Avalanche, all of our major sports teams here in Denver. And I worked for them through college and really thought that was my path. And I was lucky enough to have some really great mentors who were like, you should just try the golf thing, like take your PAT, kind of start going down that road. And I did. And as soon as I had passed my PAT, I immediately got job offers and just kind of like fell into it. But no, it was certainly not the route I was going.
So a little bit, you mentioned you went to a D1 college. How was your golf experience? I'm a former college player, but at a very small school. So I'm always just so curious on everyone's experience playing golf.
I mean, I also went to a very, very small school. My freshman year of college, like I said, I grew up in a little mountain ski town, and I had these like big dreams of living on the East Coast, and went to a small school on the East Coast for a year. Was there for a year. It was super fun, but it was definitely, I missed the West Coast. I missed being in Colorado. It was a totally different scene. I mean, we could take the train into New York City, and that was just so outside of my wheelhouse, and it was fun for a year, but it was not a long-term thing. So I transferred back to Colorado and finished up at University of Colorado Boulder, and just went the professional route at that point. So super, super fun. I mean, I got some great experiences and great friends out of it, for sure. But I was too torn by being out of the mountains. So I'm a mountain girl at heart and had to come back west.
I love it. How did you end up going from PGA professional to general manager at TravisMathew? Was fashion always a passion for you, or how did that evolve?
Yeah, it was a long road to get there, obviously. I started really into my PGA professional route in 2007. And so I've been really on the apparel side of the business for almost 20 years now, which is really hardly dating. So it was a long road to go from PGA professional to kind of where I am now with TravisMathew. And I had some really cool experiences along the way, but that ultimately kind of started with me taking over kind of buying and merchandising under an incredible mentor, Ken Wyand, who I worked under, who's now the GM of the Grove of Michael Jordan's property. I worked for him for a long time, and we really developed this really cool way of looking at product and buying and merchandising and turning a golf shop into a ski shop and selling, things that were outside of the realm of the normal like golf shop world. And I really developed a love for apparel and for the business at that point, and started being able to work with a lot of great brands to do collab opportunities or to be the first to bring a collection in. Like we were the first place in the country to actually have a Lululemon distributorship. So things like that, we were like doing really fun, interesting things. So I really got the passion there. And from there, I was given the opportunity to launch the women's division for Peter Millar, moved back to the East Coast in North Carolina to do that for a long time and worked under Chris Knott there, who was the founder, who was just incredible. And so I had some great experience where I kind of like transitioned into being, you know, in the golf professional world and then being on the buying and merchandising side of the world and then fully like moving into the apparel side. So it's been a really fun process to kind of see the business on all sides of it. Definitely love where I'm at now, but it's been, I think, a nice road to over the last 20 years to have kind of seen it from player to buyer to merchandiser to kind of now getting into this side of things.
I think it's super important too to like have all those facets when you're in a position that you're in, just so you can be able to just put your little snippets here and there and just say, this really works for the golfer, this really works for, you know, the apparel merchandising teams. Like, so we think that's really cool.
Yeah, you're just so well-rounded. You see all sides of the business. So that's great.
So a typical day as head of...
will get you there.
What's that?
20 years will get you there.
It's a great 20 years.
Yeah.
So being head of women's apparel and product, what does a typical workday look like for you?
It is really dynamic. It really runs the gamut. I guess like the best way to look at it, like I was just this morning, today is our first day back after break, by the way. So thanks for being patient with my head probably all over the place. So I was like trying to look at my calendar for the first like 3 months of this year. And it was like, okay, we have a trip to Asia where we're doing fittings and we have PGA show. And then we're meeting with Nordstrom in office on these dates. And then we have a new ambassador that's flying in to do a collab line with. So it's like, it can be everything from working directly with the design and merchandising team that sits under me, where we're right now in the middle of fall 26, which is crazy to think about, but we're doing the FH26 line. And right now we're in the middle of picking color, starting to get into prints, really having our fabric assortments figured out. So it can be that one day, and then the next day can be sitting down with a new ambassador that we're creating a collab line for, to put together like something that totally fits them and is like a cool brand collab thing. So I would say ultimately, I know you probably hear that from everyone, it's really dynamic, but it is pretty wild, like just with how quickly the business is growing and how fast things have really ramped up with TM Women's, how much we're like kind of living in a million different worlds right now. So it is really fun. It's definitely a little disorienting at times. I think I have to start my day by kind of like looking like, okay, what year am I talking about? Now we're selling SS25, we're designing FH26, we're headed to the PGA show to sell 25. It's like,
yeah, we definitely have those same conversations. Like, what season are we in? And where is this shirt from?
Okay, you kind of mentioned, sorry, go ahead.
Someone in a meeting right before we went on break brought up 2027. I was like, okay, I'm not really sure.
That's a little early.
Holy moly.
You kind of mentioned that you're going to have a collab with a influencer or somebody in the near future. So how does social media and influencers really affect the brand at TM? We see that obviously you guys just signed Akshay. You had Molly Sims, you had Mary on there. How does that drive the apparel side?
It's interesting. I certainly, I can't speak directly for, marketing impact and all of that. We have a great team that handles those kind of things. I think what we're looking at now that really impacts the product side is getting into some of these interesting collab opportunities. Obviously on the men's side, they have incredible partnerships that are really long-standing where they build out super cool custom product. Women's, we've only been shipping really product for 2 years now, so we're just now starting to build I guess, that part of the business where we're saying, let's really work with someone directly to put together a custom line. We've been doing that in various ways, whether it's putting together Nordstrom anniversary custom collection for them, or doing a custom collection for the Grove, or we have a super cool collab coming out with Peloton here in a couple in 2025. So we've been doing it more with entities versus doing it with social media, like direct social media influencers or people like that. But it's definitely something that we're going to be building into, and it's a really fun way of showing ourselves to different audiences, showing the product that we can do in different wearing occasions or different lights or for different demographics. So I'm really excited about it. We kind of kick off that part of our business really in the next couple of months. So it'll be interesting to see what we come up with these partners.
Yeah, we're excited to see.
Yeah, I think we've all seen the change in demographic as well too with golf, and especially women's golfers. So we're curious what you guys and your team look for when you're trying to reach that new female golfer.
Yeah, it's so interesting, golf changing so much for the good. I think it's become so much more accessible. It's become so much more relevant to so many women versus this kind of, really untouchable sport. I think it was for a long time, or intimidating sport. I think what we're doing on the TravisMathew's side that's really important is we're approaching it from a really authentic perspective. I think there was such a flood to the game of golf, obviously, during COVID, and everyone wanted to throw their name in the ring as far as like, oh, we do women's golf and we're making women's golf clothes. And we just saw that done over and over again in such an inauthentic way that was kind of the shrink it and pink it, where they're taking the men's line, shrinking it down, they're turning it pink, they're calling it women's. They're using the same fabrics, they're using the same tech design team. And I think it just, when I came on in 2021 to launch women's, we had a lot of really great conversations with myself and our CEO, Ryan Ellis, who said, like, we're going to do this. We're going to do it right. This isn't a dollar grab. This isn't a chance to like jump in the ring because so many other brands are wanting to do women's. And we've seen that trend continue. You think of even, the Beyond Yogas and the brands that are so far outside of golf that are still trying to play in like a country club vibe. And we said we didn't want to do it that way. And I've been really proud. We've essentially hired over 30 team members to strictly work on women's at TravisMathew. And a lot of them are, for the most part, women who have come on, who have incredible backgrounds from other brands that are coming on to bring their expertise to really do it the right way. So I think when we talk about, what we're doing to go after that newer golfer, I think it's what we've done all along and kind of is our signature of our brand. Like, we're trying to do something that's different, but it's really accessible and it's interesting, but it's not too far out there. It's really those pieces that kind of cross them into golf or everyday lifestyle, or, what you guys are wearing right now, which is such a great representation of the lifestyle side of our brand. It's trying to have products that feel like they don't only make sense on a golf course, which I think that newer golfer, that woman that's coming into the game, isn't looking for like this thing where it's like, oh, I have to have the right outfit and I have to be standing in the right spot and like doing all of the things. It's just become so much more comfortable, and we want to lean into that comfort, whether that's truly the fabrics are really comfortable or it's feeling like you have something that doesn't make you feel like you're wearing some bizarre costume that only makes sense on a golf course that you would never actually like wear into your regular life. It's just like trying to be that vibe and that feel of comfort, of ease, of accessibility, while also not being basic and boring. So we're really trying to tackle it, I think, in every way, shape, and form, whether it's the ambassadors we align with or the product that we're doing in this very authentic way of saying this is a long-term initiative for us. The TravisMathew leadership team is so fully bought into this as a long-term vision that it is something that we're really trying to do right.
Yeah, I even think about like Christmas Day a couple weeks ago. I'm in my Travis Waffle Henley outfit. My sister's in the men's Cloud Crew because she stole that out of my closet. My brother-in-law's wearing a Travis hat. My dad's wearing a scavenger hoodie. I'm just like, And my sister and my sister-in-law, they aren't even golfers either, and they just know the fabric now. They're like, "What is that, Travis?" And I'm like, "It is." They're like, "Can you get it for me?" I'm like, "Sure can." So
you do the waffle in the gray or the purple?
Funny story, the gray, but I ordered the purple too because I love it so much.
Yeah.
So that's coming. But
about our brand is the fabric. Like, that's when I say I work for Travis Matthew. That's the number one thing I hear is, "Oh my gosh, everything's so soft." And like, we love like watching people in the store just like touching everything as they're going along. And it's important that we brought that into the women's side as well, because it's such a key part of our business, but doing it in a way that's saying, well, we're not just taking the men's fabrics and we're going to cut them in women's silhouettes. Like, what's our version of cloud fleece? Like, what's our version of like the cloud rib that you guys are wearing? Like, those kind of things that still feel like it's feminine, it's authentic, it makes sense for a female in what she wants, but it definitely speaks to what we're known for.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so when we are buying, we have the luxury of seeing the mood boards, that you guys have for your inspiration. Can you kind of give us a little bit more details or where the inspiration comes from that you want to implement into the line?
Yeah, we have a really, really great design team, and we have some people on it that focus really on trends and forecasting and seeing where the world is headed. As far as the apparel business goes. And I think what's unique about us is we're really focused on where's the better quality apparel vision going versus where's the golf apparel vision going. It speaks back to that idea of like, this is a woman who's modern and current and wants to be able to wear things on and off course with ease in the same way that our guy does. So we really spend a lot of time at the Chicago markets, at Coterie, at all of the really main retail women's wear shows, and understanding like where that business is going, where that market is going from a print perspective, from a fabric perspective, from just a general trends and ideas perspective, versus trying to understand where the golf space is going. So when we do that, we put together a lot of mood boards, and because we're following, everything from, we start with runway trends, and those runway trends trickle down into ready to wear, and then eventually trickle down to more nuanced business like golf. So we're paying attention to runway. We know that we don't want to be runway. We know that we can't emulate a lot of their trends, but it's like, what are the nods to it? Like right now, femininity is like a big thing in runway, and there's a lot of brands like Chloe that are just doing these like over the top, beautiful, feminine takes on women's wear. And so we're seeing that start to trickle down. It's like, how can we bring that in a way that's like a nod to it without it being over the top, or without it being something that feels like it's only going to last in your closet for 6 months because it's on some like big trend cycle. So I would say that's kind of how we use our mood boards. We start with those like very, very aspirational things, and we just kind of keep peeling down to like, how do we make it accessible? How do we make it make sense with our brand, and kind of keep our vision and our vibe going, while giving a nod to that, because she's seeing it at Nordstrom, she's seen it at Neiman Marcus, she's seen it in other places, and we want her to also be able to access those trends in a small way through us.
Yeah, I think it's really speaks to the whole brand in a sense that we can wear something like this today, but also be like, I'm wearing Travis on the course tomorrow. Like, I think it's just
Or on
awesome.
the airplane.
Yeah, or on the airplane.
Next week.
Or on the couch.
Yeah.
Like, just to check all those boxes, I think for the women's shopper as well, just a one-stop shop. It's really, really cool.
I think I love it too, because I know I can wake up in the morning, I can throw on a legging set from you guys, come to work in a dress or even a golf outfit, go home, put on a lounge set. It's just from, open to close. I can do it all.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, it's definitely what we're going for. It's fun going into the retail stores now and really being able to shop that experience and see people shopping that experience, especially the people that maybe know us through golf, whose husband's an avid golfer and maybe that's how he found the brand. So sometimes we do get pigeonholed into, Travis Matthew is a golf brand, and then it's a women's golf brand, their new line. And it's like, no, it's not at all. We have things that 100% make sense in golf, but we also are trying to really bring this feel of not wanting to be athleisure, but wanting to be those just everyday easy pieces that she can kind of wear in her, day-to-day world. And so we're really trying to cover all of those wearing occasions in a way that does allow you to have the total lounge vibe, and then also the like, okay, I want to be cuter and pair this with heels and do a date night, and we're starting to explore those wearing occasions more and more as the line kind of develops. So in the upcoming season, you'll see that kind of even develop out further, where we have more of those wearing occasions that maybe lean a little bit more dressy, or even getting into more lounge things and stuff like that.
So what's one piece that you personally could not go without that's in the women's line now?
I feel like my go-to piece that's probably my most transitional piece in my life, and granted I'm a mom of 2 young boys and on a plane every 5 minutes and all of the things, so I would say mine is probably our Skyloft half zip.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys have worn that, but it's my personal favorite piece. I think Skyloft in general is just such a great fabric because it's so soft, yet it's really easy care, and it doesn't have the pilling quality that some fleeces do, and it kind of skates that line between athletic and lifestyle. So I'll wear that, in my day-to-day running around. I'll pair it over a golf polo if I'm golfing in it. It's my post yoga, it's freezing in Denver right now where I live, so post yoga throw on after class. So I would say that's my favorite one. And in that fabric for us, we're just in love with right now. We're expanding it into a ton of different things and different weights and stuff because we're latched onto her.
So we recently were at the TravisMathew headquarters. Obviously, we saw you briefly. We are so excited to see, or for the upcoming line for fall 25 now. Yeah. It's crazy to think about that. Megan and I already established that basically our entire wardrobe will be TravisMathew.
Anything in that brown as well.
Yeah, anything in that brown. But is there any...
Brown is so great. Obviously, we're all in our
right?
brown white.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Is there any teasers that you can kind of give our viewers that's your baby that they have to look forward to?
Oh man, it's tricky. I was saying my head's in fall 26 right now. I gotta flip. I would say what I'm excited. Oh, I just flipped my line sheets open. I am really excited about some of our transitional lifestyle pieces that we have in 25. I actually just did a shoot right before Christmas with some of our ambassadors where we're coming out with a pant that we're calling our everyday pant, which is going to be a big campaign for us, and it's really that alternative to denim. So we're using this fabric that we just absolutely love. That's this alternative to denim. We're doing it in a pant, which is that ultimate go-to, but then we're also doing it in everything from really cool dresses that have interesting cutout details, putting it in different bottoms, different jacketing pieces. So we're really, I think, kind of expanding into this lifestyle wearing occasion world that I think is really cool, and in somewhat what you guys are wearing, and taking it a step more tailored, where we're using less knits and we're starting to get into some more woven fabrications, but very easy, stretchy woven fabrications. So I'm really excited about that. We have a Ponte bomber jacket that I will wear every single day. I actually was going to wear it today and I didn't because I've done so many interviews and been photographed with it so much for every single interview. And this is getting absurd, and it's in the same brown we're wearing. So I was really trying to branch out. Obviously didn't do that well still in brown, but yeah, I'm really excited for some of those pieces for sure. And in 2025 will be really our kind of 3rd year shipping product. So it's always scary and interesting in the apparel industry because our lead times are so long. So whether it's here or the other brands I worked for, the first couple lines you come out with are putting a lot of stuff out with no understanding of what'll work, no history of selling, no feedback from buyers like you. So you're kind of flying blind for a while, and it requires really sinking into like the vision of what you want it to be, and knowing that there's going to be wins and there's going to be misses and there's going to be a lot of learning, and kind of stay in the course, stay in the direction, but taking all those learnings and being like, okay, this worked over here, this didn't work, why didn't it work, can we spin it, like how do we also pay attention to what's happening on the men's side and what's working there. Like men's right now, our outerwear just could not be cooler and stronger, and so we're like taking a lot of notes from that of like, wow, we have some price points we didn't think we could do, or some wearing occasions we didn't think we could do, like that's working for them, let's see how we can translate that on our side. So we've just taken so much and we've learned so much, and now we're finally able to put together lines where we have that feedback and we have the sales and the data to be more pointed in how we go about the business. So I think that's the really fun thing now, is that it's starting to be still a lot of feel, but now a lot of analytics that go behind it too, which is so much of my job is like left brain, right brain, like numbers, creative, which I love. But for a while, you're kind of going without the numbers a little bit. So now we kind of know, we've had some really cool wins in things that we maybe thought were too push for us. Like we did a chambray dress that had like these interesting side cutouts, and we're like, that's a push piece. And it ended up like crushing and did really, really well for us. And so it's like, okay, we can go there. That was the entry. Like, let's see where we can go with that beyond. So now we have the stomach comfort to kind of keep moving the business forward.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate that in a brand when they tend to look at what's trending with their consumer and keeping it there for them, even if it has little updates or, like you said, a push piece as well. But I think when you pay attention to what the consumer is continuously buying, it also speaks too, because they're going to go buy more than one. I think we really appreciate when a brand does that, just so it keeps our consumer happy as well.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's where, people like you guys are so valuable to us. And that's why we bring you out to headquarters, and we want you to like get the full experience and see its entirety and like touch and feel everything and understand where it's coming from, because the messaging then that you're passing down by curating the assortments that make sense for your customer, getting the feedback, understanding what's working, and being able to bring that back to us to say, hey, we thought this would check. Here's why it didn't. We dabbled here. We didn't know if it was a go, and now we feel really comfortable with it. Like those are the conversations we're constantly having with our buyers, whether it's more in the golf space or with the team at Nordstrom, where it's more focused on the lifestyle space of trying to understand every little nuance of like why it worked, why it didn't work, how we can evolve it, how we can continue to give you guys stories that you can message to your customers of like, hey, you loved this piece and now here's where it went, or here's the secondary piece now that makes sense with it, or things like that.
I think we can relate to that a lot too, because from our side on the buying, we're not afraid to push boundaries, and we're not afraid to take chances, and that's what's made us so successful over the last 6 decades. So I just keep thinking of like Mr. Rose in the back of our head, who was our founder, that's like, you can't sell what you don't have. So we're willing to take the risk and see if it works, and it's been very successful. So we're very, very fortunate to have a partner like you guys.
Yeah, I think what you guys do really well is look at your business in a more creative way than most traditionally golf retailers do. And I think the name is hard because of the Carl's Golf land. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, I think people going into your stores and seeing what you have, on the e-com side of things, understand that creativity. And I think that's where the golf market is in general. It's like you walk into a golf shop, you walk onto a golf course. It used to be this like very narrow sense of what was golf or what made sense adjacent to golf. And people like you guys have been able to debunk that, to say, no, like you can wear hoodies on a golf course. Like there's no rule against having a hooded sweatshirt on a golf course, like where that would have been like so outside of anyone's comfort zone.
It took us some time to get there, we'll be honest. Like we weren't always stocking hoodies deep like we are now, but
the first one we brought in, we were like, okay, here we go.
Right. But it takes that like kind of push, and I think people are looking for that. Like we're all poloed and half zipped out at a certain point, and it's like, what's the newness to it? What's the interest to it? how do you keep kind of pushing it forward and still covering those wearing occasions, but maybe doing it in a way that's a bit more creative.
Awesome. Is there anything you want to tell the Travis Matthew female customer or just the lover of the brand?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, what I always try and tell people is, you guys get to see the full spectrum. Mm-hmm. Most people don't to necessarily see that. They see a really curated assortment where they might be buying it, or they don't spend the time like go on the website and really look through what we have, but kind of take out all the preconceived notions of what Travis Matthew means as like a men's brand or as a men's golf brand, because we're so much more than that, and you guys are doing such a lovely job of modeling just how much more we are than that. And so I really think it's like we want people to really see and think about Travis Matthew Women's outside of a golf occasion, outside of it only makes sense on a golf course, or I'm not a golfer, so I haven't really checked out the line. We're really pushing to be a relevant women's lifestyle brand. And we have great partners in like a Nordstrom right now who tells that story really, really well, where there's nothing to do with golf. It's just about great lifestyle pieces that definitely have application on some of them to a golf course, to a pickleball court, to, your standard like Sunday stroll. Like there's definitely those applications, but we're more than what I think people think we are at this point.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we're going to do some rapid fire questions just to get to know you some better.
I flew home last night, and I don't know if my brain is firing at full speed.
It's okay.
We're talking rapid fire.
There's only a few. So first one, what's your lowest round?
Oh man, I have my like wall of all of my scorecards you can't see right here that are like best rounds. I would say, I'm scanning, 68.
Ooh, wow.
And that's what I grew up on.
All right,
so,
nice. Favorite golf course?
I played Augusta National, so I like.
How can you not
so
say that?
I'm like forced. I have to say that, but I love St. Andrews. I played St. Andrews, the old course, a few years ago. Such an incredible like history experience. So I love that from the history. But Augusta, will always have the top spot, I think.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you got there? Like, who was your foursome?
Yeah. So for 4 years, I designed the women's collections for the Masters. So wow. I did that with Peter Millar. We had the contract for essentially all of the Magnolia Lane collection. So I designed that collection for them for 4 years, and they were gracious enough to let me get around in at one point after the tournament, which was an absolute incredible opportunity. I was like the most ridiculous tourist of all time. Like I remember everyone was like freaking out in our foursome. We're like freaking out, and we're like, we should go to Walmart and buy more cameras. Like, what if this camera dies? What if we need another camera? What if we don't have a backup? And so, it was a really, really cool experience. And I've just been so lucky with this career to be able to kind of travel all over the world to play some really cool courses and do some things like that. But yeah, they were such a lovely group of individuals there, and so great to let me do that.
That's awesome. A dream foursome that you have?
Oh man, I would have to say, so I have two little boys, 9 and 6, and they are both, especially the 9-year-olds, really into golf. I would say the two of them, and oh man, this is so hard. My dad was my like golf mentor growing up and really, really into the game. And he's the one that really gave me the love for it. And my brother, who was a big golfer, who was like it was always the three of us playing. So I would say like some combination of that group.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. since influencers and athletes are, a big trend on helping brands get the recognition, who's someone you would like to see in the future for Travis Mathew, ladies apparel, or just the brand in general?
Oh man. That's a hard one. I would love to see, both sides of the spectrum so much. I would love to see a top LPGA woman wearing the line on course. And that's just not been an area we've pursued at this point. We've definitely had a lot of people come to us and haven't had exactly the right fit yet. I would say I would kill to see that. And I would also kill to see someone like really relevant in like just the everyday space, like an everyday kind of name who's like a kind of a cool, hard-hitting woman that's like self-made. I'm doing bad at drawing a name. I'll have to think.
You can get
That's
back.
okay. Yeah, we can circle back to that.
Right.
Well, we appreciate all your time today, Lindsay. Thank you so much. If you are looking for anything Travis Mathew golf related or athleisure, please be sure to check it out at Carl's Golfland or Travis Mathew.